Minneapolis has become the focus of intense national attention after a federal immigration enforcement operation turned deadly and sparked widespread protests. Over the past few weeks, multiple shootings involving federal agents have drawn fierce criticism from local leaders, activists, and lawmakers across the political spectrum. The latest incident involved 37-year-old Alex Preddy, an intensive care nurse who was fatally shot by U.S. Border Patrol agents during an immigration enforcement action. Local video and witness accounts contradict official federal statements that Preddy posed an armed threat. Instead, they show that he was filming the scene and unarmed when officers tackled and shot him. Friends and witnesses say Preddy was trying to help someone when he was killed. In addition to Preddy's death, another shooting earlier in January claimed the life of Renee Good, also 37, who was killed in a separate confrontation with an ICE officer. Both deaths have heightened distrust of federal immigration operations in the city and intensified calls for accountability. Thousands of residents and advocates have taken to the streets of Minneapolis in freezing temperatures, demanding an end to the deployment of federal immigration agents under what's known as Operation Metro Surge. Demonstrators have marched, chanted "ICE out," and clashed with law enforcement. At times, federal officers have used tear gas and other crowd control tools to disperse crowds outside locations where agents are believed to be staying. The movement has grown beyond Minnesota. Public figures, including athletes, have shown support for protesters, at times holding signs and leading tributes during sporting events. The shooting has triggered a rare bipartisan push for an independent investigation into the actions of federal agents. Republican lawmakers, including Senators Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, alongside Democrats, have called for transparency and a full accounting of what happened. President Donald Trump has defended the actions of Border Patrol and ICE, while also saying the events are under review. He has blamed local leadership for unrest and has at times threatened broader federal action in response to protests. In recent days, the Trump administration and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz have taken a quieter tone, with both leaders emphasizing dialogue. Trump has indicated he may eventually withdraw some federal agents, though he has not provided a clear timeline. Experts and activists argue the events shed light on broader issues with federal immigration enforcement. From mid-2025 to early 2026, there have been at least 16 shooting incidents involving Department of Homeland Security agents in various U.S. cities, none of which have resulted in criminal charges for the officers involved. Critics say inconsistent transparency and accountability have eroded public trust. Supporters of the protests argue that the heavy federal presence, particularly in a city with a large immigrant population, has created fear and hindered access to essential services. Some public health advocates say aggressive immigration enforcement can have wider consequences on community well-being. Minneapolis and Minnesota leaders have sought legal avenues to challenge the federal deployment, including lawsuits asserting that the presence of immigration agents violates state authority and constitutional protections. A federal judge is set to hear arguments in cases related to these claims. Meanwhile, families of victims and community groups continue to call for justice and reforms that would prevent future violence and ensure clearer rules for federal law enforcement. The situation remains fluid, with protests and national discussions ongoing.